Hello and welcome back to my channel, Lady T. My name is Nathalie and we are going to continue with Detective Pikachu Returns. Wrath. Aria. A Poliwrath and Hariyama. They're squaring off. You could cut the tension with a knife. It looks like a fight could break out any second. We should probably avoid this alley so we don't accidentally set them off. I think they were already fighting. Oh no, Hariyama's facing off against Poliwrath again. Why does he act out like this? He's usually so gentle. Is something wrong? My partner Hariyama loves showing off his strength, especially when he can test it against someone else's. And since Poliwrath is also proud of its muscles, Hariyama considers it his rival. Once they start going at it, it's hard to stop them. Yikes, guess we'd better avoid that alley for now. Well, you don't need help. That sweet smell is irresistible. They must be using Combi's honey. Let's come back and try some after we're done with the case. Indeed, he really helps loosen up the knots in my shoulders.
Okay, I'm gonna teach you some great detective tips.
Tell me.
Great detective tip number 1. Every single thing a suspect says or does has a motive behind it. It's a great detective's job to uncover them.
Uh-huh. Good tip. You have more tips?
Alright. Let's continue on for a bit more.
I thought you really wanted to talk, but... Great job, Maractus. Your dancing is so cute. From the top. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maracaka. Hello. These menu items use all sorts of different berries. With so many choices, they could cater to any Pokemon's tastes. How about a little snack for you and your partner? Hi.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on such short notice, Tim. This way, the crime took place at the Dennis residence up ahead. Yeah, take your time. And he's gone.
Well,
It's an estate.
if it isn't the great detectives.
Do you want me to spit on you? Rhyme City Police Lieutenant. Dedicated to law and order are Manectric. It's been a while, Brad. I see you're on the case too. I suppose that means you are as well. You private detectives do love sticking your noses into every little thing. If Mr. Dennis hadn't requested you personally, I'd be asking you to leave right now. Yep, he's still a jerk. Think he's still holding a grudge from that time we showed him up? Mnek. He says no funny business. Sheesh, no wonder you two are partners. That's enough, Brad. We're going to be conducting this investigation together. This is the scene of the crime, right? Yes, this mansion belongs to Sanjeev Dennis, a jeweler. Great, but I think we should go inside. Mr. Dennis is one of the wealthiest men in Rhyme City. Under normal circumstances, a civilian like yourself would never have the opportunity to meet him. Neither would you. Make sure you don't do anything to offend him. Oh, and don't get in the way of our investigation either. He's just good to get a dig in somewhere, doesn't he? Okay, Tim, come inside. Gladly. I don't think he's that bad or that rude, he's just a little bit of a prick. The missing jewel. The first floor of the residence. Oh ho, oh ho, ho ho, oh oh. Ooh, Palkia. No, not Palkia. Lou is met a Lou. Alright, Tim. Mr. Dennis is waiting for you in the room to the right. Thanks, Inspector Holiday. We are going to... Oh, sorry. I hit a button that I... Lieutenant McMaster is currently interviewing Mr. Barnes in this room.
Excuse me.
I guess it would be too much to ask for us to join in, right? I'm afraid we can't allow even the great Detective Tim to do that. Police protocol, you understand. Hey, I have a couple questions to ask. Got a moment? Manek. Don't want to waste time chitting while you're on duty, huh? Awfully stubborn, aren't you? You're even harder to talk to than Brad's Manectric. Well, you're not wasting time if you're helping someone else with the investigation. Okay, no clues appear to be around. Oh, poor little
Tim,
Growlithe.
I've been waiting for you.
You look cool. Sanjeev Dennis the jeweler. Guard at the Dennis residence. Growlithe. It's not your fault, buddy. My name is Sanjeev Dennis. I'm a jeweler, and this is my partner, Growlithe. I'm Detective Tim Goodman, and this is my partner, Pikachu. Sorry to jump right into it, but could you please tell us what you know about the incident? About the crime that took place. A precious jewel was stolen while I was out of the house. It's called the Aurora Drop, and it's a very rare jewel indeed. The Aurora Drop. What a mysterious name. Magical even. The thief injured one of my staff members and made off with the jewel. Okay. Thankfully, my staff member's injuries were minor, and yet, is something sticking out to you as odd? Well, the police are treating my trusted butler as the prime suspect. They think the butler did it? Could you tell me a bit more about the stolen jewel? It looks like this. Most gemstones must first be cut and polished into beautiful jewels, but the Aurora Drop is said to have naturally formed into its shape. The way it shines looks a bit like an aurora. Yes, that's precisely how it got its name. The Aurora Drop has been the subject of many a tale, but it was thought to be nothing more than fiction. Even among us jewelers, for the longest time we called it a jewel of legend. Whoa, he wasn't kidding when he called it precious. Guess it's no surprise that someone wanted to steal it. It definitely sounds valuable. Where were you displaying it? I kept it securely locked within a special reinforced case inside my jewel storage room. There are locks on both the storage room door and the reinforced case. And yet, despite all that security, it still got stolen. About your trusted butler. You mentioned that the police already have a suspect. Yes, they believe that the thief is my own trusted butler, Barnes. Why do they think that? Because Barnes and I are the only people who can access the key to the storage room. What's keeping someone else from getting to it? The key is always kept around Growlithe's neck. If anyone but Barnes or myself attempted to take it from her, Growlithe would start barking. My Growlithe is a very loyal Pokemon. She would never allow the key to be taken by a stranger. I don't see a key around Growlithe's neck right now. The police think Barnes took it. That would certainly make sense, assuming Barnes really is the culprit. Mr. Denise, if possible, I'd like to talk with Barnes. He's currently being questioned by the police. But you don't believe Barnes is the thief. Is that correct? I've known Barnes since we were young. He's worked in his home for years and has always served us well. I'm certain that he'd never steal from me. And I couldn't possibly imagine him hurting anyone. So you're saying Barnes didn't do it, and the real culprit is still at large? That's right. Someone else must have stolen the jewel. Please help me prove that Barnes is innocent. So that's why he called us here, to clear his butler's name. We'll talk to Barnes later. So, finding the Aurora Drop and clearing Barnes of suspicion. Those are the two things you called us here to do. Could you please? You're the only ones I can count on. Our job is to investigate the case and reveal the truth. We won't know if Barnes is truly innocent until we look into this more. Yeah, the police must have at least some reason to suspect him. But we'll do what we can. If that's acceptable to you, we'll take the case. That's more than acceptable. Thank you, Tim. Great. In that case, may I start investigating the scene of the crime? Of course. The jewel storage room is just upstairs. I know you won't let me down. Wait a second, Tim. There's something I want to try, starting with this case. Something you want to try? Yeah, a case notebook. The writers for Detective Journal swear by it. Detective Journal. That's the magazine you're always reading, right? Yeah, that's the one. They researched the most efficient way for detectives to organize their case notes. The solution they came up with was a case notebook. Sounds intriguing. How does it work? I'm getting to that. First, open up your notebook. But how did the culprit steal it? Investigate the scene of the crime on the second floor for clues. First, let's write in the notebook any burning questions that arise while we're investigating. We'll summarize the testimony and evidence that we've gathered during our investigation on the page below. The Aurora Drop is Mr. Genesis' prized jewel. Someone has stolen it. After we've collected enough testimonies and evidence, the begin deducing option will appear. When you select this, we can start deducing the answers to our questions. We don't have enough testimonies or evidence right now, but once we do, we'll be able to start deducing. Good. I guess actually using the notebook is the best approach. So Tim, what do we have to do right now? We have to collect testimonies and evidence to figure out how the jewel was stolen. To do that, we first have to investigate the scene of the crime. That's right, let's go check out the jewel storage room. I also want to talk to Growlithe. Oh, it's Dennis's partner Growlithe. She sure doesn't look happy. Oh, apparently she feels responsible. No wonder she's so down. Maybe we should just leave her alone for a while. I would ask her questions actually. But the game wants me to go up first. This room is currently being searched by the police. Okay,
Whoa!
We may be investigating a crime, but we should still respect the residents' privacy. We shouldn't go barging into rooms that have nothing to do with the case, Tim. True, we need to focus on the jewel storage room. I just wanted to focus on everything. This is the jewel storage room, the scene of the crime. Ooh, whimsical. Oh, feathers.
Oh,
What's all this? Pokemon feathers. Sure looks like it. They're scattered all over the floor and the window's open. Maybe a Pokemon got in or out through here. Do you think it has anything to do with this case? Look at this. One of these feathers is darker than the others. You're right, the other 6 are a lighter shade of blue. Something about that is nagging at me. The jewel storage room has been left exactly as it was at the time of the incident. Inspector Holiday's already filled me in. Please go right ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Whimsicott was here. Oh, and another feather. Could a Pokemon have opened it with a move? What is it, Pikachu? I checked out the door, but there are no signs of forced entry. Then we can be fairly certain that the thief used the key to get in. According to Denise, this room's where the Aurora Drop used to be. Let's take a closer look. Oh, I want to take a look at this, but I can't. This one's a blue jewel. It's a deep blue like the ocean. It has a kind of magical feeling to it. It's a red jewel, but a vibrant red like boiling hot lava. It's almost too bright to look at. Like firestones or something? Fire, water and a green jewel. The fresh green color reminds me of the forest. Just looking at it is calming. And it's so clear, sparkly, absolutely brilliant. A shiny stone. I mean, don't we see... This area looks more disturbed than the rest. Let's start investigating. We might find a clue. Alright, don't let any details slip past you, Tim. Are we going to do the zoom in thing? Where should we look first? I would start here. Here's a blue feather. Do you think the Pokemon it belonged to was in this room? Maybe it's from a Pokemon that lives in the mansion. Let's look into that later. This is the only case that's damaged. Must be where they kept the Aurora Drop. It actually looks like they cut it. The edge looks like it was sliced clean with a blade exactly. What kind of blade could slice this cleanly through such a sturdy jewel case? The jewel case is still locked. Much good it did that. Like Denise said, the jewel in this case was stored on the lock and key. And the key to the case is a different key than the one to the jewel storage room door. I wonder who has the key then? We'll have to ask. Don't think there's anything else on here. That looks like part of the jewel case. Based on the shape, do you think the top half of the case was cut off? Yeah, it looks like that way. It's a really clean cut. Slicing it must have taken one seriously sharp blade. I doubt a human could pull that off. There's some cotton on the ground. It looks really fluffy and soft. What's a bunch of cotton doing in here?
Right.
We've covered everything I was wondering about. Any other spots you want to check? Apparently.
Hey, Tim! Check it out! Looks good, huh?
Cutie.
Disguises are a key part of detective work, you know.
No one's going to recognize you now.
Now quit goofing off and investigate.
He clearly doesn't appreciate my art.
Clearly.
Perhaps I need to give him a little more training.
There goes your eyebrow. I think that might have been everything. The base of the jewel case is firmly fixed to the floor. Yeah, moving the base doesn't even look possible. I don't see anything else worth investigating.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah?
Quit looking at my tail and start investigating anything that looks suspicious.
Sorry. Pika butts. Okay, I think that was it.
Okay, let's start deducing.
Okay.
Okay.
You've probably figured out how the culprit stole the jewel by now, eh? Alright, select begin deducing in your case notebook.
Okay.
How was the jewel stolen? We have a few plausible theories. Which do you think is right? The culprit unlocked the case. No. The culprit hasn't actually stolen the jewel yet. The culprit may not have taken the Aurora Drop out of the jewel storage room. Instead, they may have hidden it amongst the cotton. The culprit cut this one.
Okay.
From what we've seen of the crime scene, we can tell that the jewel case was sliced open. After that, the Aurora Drop was removed from the case and taken away. Right, and we saw that the jewel case was still locked, which supports that claim. We still need to investigate more to determine how the case was sliced open. But at least now we know how the thief got their hands on the Aurora Drop. Yeah, we've made our first step forward. Good. Woohoo!
Okay.
You understand how to use the casebook now? Yep, once I've got some evidence, I'll start deducing. Feel free to start deducing whenever you feel like it. Okay. After investigating the scene, we now know how the crime was carried out. We can be certain that the culprit sliced open the case and took the jewel from inside. But there's just one thing that's strange. Oh yeah? Yeah, think Tim. What's strange about the way the crime was committed? The glass was cut, but the door wasn't.
Oh.
The door to the storage room was opened with a key, but the jewel case was still locked when it was sliced apart. That's right, so that means the thief only had one of the keys, the one to the storage room. They didn't have the key to the jewel case. According to Mr. Denise, only he and Barnes can access the jewel storage room. I understand why the police suspect Barnes, but I'm not so sure. Obviously, it would be best if we could talk to Barnes ourselves, but he's still being questioned. We need to ask Mr. Denise about the lock on the jewel case. Right, after we wrap up here, let's go ask him. How's the investigation going, Tim? Oh, Mr. Denise. Sorry, I couldn't stand just waiting around. Have you discovered anything? It does appear that the culprit used the storage room key to gain entry. We believe they then cut open the jewel case and took the Aurora Drop. Is that so? I suppose that doesn't help Barnes much, since he has access to the key. I have a question for you, Mr. Denise. Who has the key to the jewel case? I have it right here. I always carry the key to the jewel case on my person. I've known Barnes a very long time, but I still won't give him this key. Okay. The security of the jewel case is my personal responsibility. Got it. So both Barnes and Denise can access the key to the jewel storage room, but only Mr. Denise has access to the key to the jewel case itself. That's valuable information, Mr. Denise. Thank you. Really? I thought I might be getting in the way, but I'm glad to hear I could help. The Aurora Drop is meant to become a symbol of revival for Rhyme City. Anyway, I'm counting on you, Tim. A symbol of revival. Let's ask Denise about that later. The thief cut open the case to steal the jewel, but they had the key to get into the storage room. And the only people who have access to that key are Denise and Barnes, so it makes sense that the police would suspect Barnes. If the key hadn't been used to unlock the storage room, Barnes wouldn't be under suspicion in the first place. Why would he do that, knowing people would suspect him? Maybe he didn't think that far ahead. In any case, based on what we found at the scene of the crime, we can't be certain of anything just yet. We need to talk to Barnes and the other people in the mansion and hear what they have to say. Not just the people, the Pokemon too. I'll interpret for you when we talk to them. Alright, I'm counting on you, Pikachu. Okay, now that we've got the next steps figured out, let's start interviewing everyone right away. We could already start deducing, but I don't think we should. Okay, we already talked about that. We've already seen that. Okay, you're not telling me anything. Back down. Oh, hi.
Hello there, Detective Tim.
Were you?
No, I mean, Detective Goodman?
Larry Turner, newest staff member of the Denise residence. Wait, you are the detective, right? That's what Mr. Denise said, at least. The name's... Wait, that's not proper enough. Sorry. My name is Larry Turner, and I'm a member of the house staff. House staff, huh? Seems in over his head. If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if... You really don't have to be so formal with us. Thanks, that's a huge relief. I got this job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all that fancy. Uh-oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokemon, managing the house and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that, no problem. I don't know, this guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do his job. Anyway, you wanted to ask about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. I'm really sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just that I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere and I blacked out. Something attacked me? So not a thief then? Can you please tell us more about that, Mr. Turner? Sure, no problem. About the crime that took place. Right, so where to start? I was just doing my job like normal today. I'd made food for the Pokemon, did some cleaning around the mansion, that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw Ducklet fly out of a second-story window. As I recall, I wondered where she was going. I mean, usually Ducklet just walks out the front door. It seemed weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. That's when I saw that the door to the jewel storage room was wide open. As if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokemon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on a sofa and someone was treating my wounds. A Pokemon punched you? Yeah, I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Based on the size, it couldn't have been a human, so I'm guessing it was a Pokemon. A red Pokemon. Do you know what kind it was? I'm really not sure. It all happened so fast. I see. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. Haha, that's what the doctor said too. No Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop. It's possible that the culprit ordered their partner Pokemon to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So Tim, now that you've heard Turner's story, what do you think? We need to find the ducklet that flew out the window, and that red Pokemon too. Yep, you got it. About the culprit.
Excuse me?
Did you see anything else when the Pokemon attacked you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Unfortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other details that might give us a clue about the culprit? Nothing in particular is coming to mind. I mean, Mr. Denise is such a nice person. I've never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. He's rich, so probably will. And I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have some reason to suspect him. But honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great co-worker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you could never even imagine him being a thief. About the drop.
Excuse me?
Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop. I've never even seen the thing. It's been shut up in that storage room ever since it was brought to the house. Of course I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Denise lately. What sort of arguments? In case you haven't heard, Mr. Denise says he's gonna donate the Aurora Drop. Sorry. Seems like Mrs. Denise is against that plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night? It must really be a point of contention. I guess Mrs. Denise just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel. So the Aurora Drop's been driving a wedge between husband and wife, eh? Okay. Oh, more. We have more people. All ears for mentioned gossip. That's what we need. Fab. Oh, it's Clefable, Mrs. Denise's partner, apparently. Can I ask you a few questions? Whoa, what gives? No need to be so rude. What's wrong? Seems like she's really suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling sensitive after the incident here. Okay.
Yes? You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
Well, your husband called us in. The wifey, Claudia. We're detectives. Mr. Denise asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Detectives? Oh, I suppose my husband did say something about that. Your husband? That must mean you're Claudia Denise, Sanjeev's wife. I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. The case has already been solved. What do you mean? The police said that Barnes is behind all this, so the matter's settled. We've heard that he's under suspicion, yes, but we can't be certain it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound just like my husband, but nothing you say will change the fact that Barnes is the culprit. I think she did it. Barnes' partner Ducklet was up to no good. I saw it with my own eyes. Did you witness the crime? Barnes' partner Ducklet was involved in the crime? You look as though you don't believe me. About what you witnessed.
Excuse me?
Is it true that you witnessed the crime? Well, I didn't exactly see it clearly. Huh? But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my room on the second floor. Just then, I noticed a bird Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to have been Ducklet. No. We did find blue feathers near the window and in the storage room. So those were Ducklets? In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I also heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound. Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't, but the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose she must have broken something in the act. And I've heard it confirmed that Ducklet's feathers were found in the room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes is the culprit? No? She's pretty darn convinced of her own theory. But all that it's based on is a metallic sound and the sight of a flying bluebird Pokemon. Pretty flimsy if you ask me. Yeah, I'm sorry Mrs. Denise, but that information alone isn't enough to definitely prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find whoever it is, and get that jewel back. Isn't that what my husband hired you for? I get that she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us. About Barnes.
Excuse me?
Miss Denise seems confident that Barnes is innocent. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting. Especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much? I'm told Barnes has worked here for a very long time. Much longer in fact than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes is always taking my husband's side. What do you mean by that? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev. Even though I'm sure he believes he's being impartial. That lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws. I get the feeling Claudia's not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief? About Ducklet.
Excuse me?
Could you tell me more about Ducklet? Ducklet is Barnes' partner. She dotes on him tirelessly and is always by his side. Okay. You mentioned earlier that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklet be capable of such a thing? Yes, she even helps Barnes out with his shopping. She'd certainly be capable of making off with a jewel. Well, whether or not Ducklet stole the jewel, the one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes. About the Aurora Drop.
Yes?
The Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Denise told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable it is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions. Hey, my face always looks like this. As it is, I'm not even sure my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something so precious, why would he want to donate it to Rhyme City? So you're against donating the Aurora Drop? Of course I am. Treasures like that aren't meant to be paraded about for the general public. They should be preserved for quiet observation by a select few. Hard to imagine her quietly doing anything. Stupid woman. Cheer up, Growlithe. Oh, we still can't talk to you? Ask me anything you like. About the symbol of revival. What makes the Aurora Drop a symbol of revival? 2 years ago, during the R incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the R incident? Yes, some Pokemon who had been exposed to R went berserk. The rampage destroyed my shop, to say nothing of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So was the Aurora Drop damaged too? No, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one to remain unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible. I guess there's some magic left in the world after all. Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the R incident. People started visiting my shop just to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel, in more ways than one. What made you decide to bring it back to your mansion instead of keeping it at your shop? I decided to donate it to Rhyme City. The Aurora Drop? But why donate something so precious to you? It's not just precious to me, and that's exactly why I decided to donate it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine. So I wanted to donate the jewel that survived the R incident as a symbol of Rhyme City's revival. I hope that by doing so, I can help liven up not just my shop, but the whole city as well. Whoa, Denise, I'm impressed. That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Forget I said anything. I shouldn't burden you with concern over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible. Understood, we'll do everything we can. I know your wife doesn't like it. Now then, Mr. Barnes, we'll thank you not to leave the mansion until further notice. Understood. Hey, it sounds like the police finished questioning Barnes. Let's go talk to him. Yeah. Hello. The butler. Brandon Barnes. How did it come to this? Why are the police so suspicious of me? Excuse me, are you Mr. Barnes? Who might you be? I'm Detective Tim Goodman. Mr. Dennis has hired me to investigate the crime that occurred here. Is that so? Ah, my apologies. I am Brandon Barnes. I work here at the Denise residence as a butler. Do you mind if we ask you some questions, Mr. Barnes? I realize you must be tired since you were just questioned by the police. Please don't worry about that. If you've been hired by Mr. Denise, then it is my duty to give you my full cooperation. Thank you. What would you like me to speak about first? At the time of the incident.
Yes.
I was away when the incident occurred. It wasn't until after I'd finished my errand and entered the house that I realized something was amiss. I heard Turner cry out from the second floor. When I rushed upstairs, I found him collapsed on the floor in front of the jewel storage room. So that means Barnes was the first witness to arrive at the scene of the crime. Did you see the thief or their partner Pokemon? No, nothing like that. Wait, if Barnes went up the stairs, you'd think he would have run straight into the thief. If he didn't see anyone, could they have escaped from the second floor? Did you check the storage room? Yes, the door was already open, and when I looked inside, I saw that the Aurora Drop was gone. I then contacted Mr. Denise and the police right away. Is there anyone who can corroborate your whereabouts at the time? Unfortunately not. It was only afterward that Mrs. Denise came out of her room to see what the commotion was about, so she lied about that. And the only others in the house at the time were Growlithe and Clefable. Naturally, no one can take witness statements from Pokemon, so I'm afraid I have no alibi. That's where we come in. The Pokemon that live in this mansion might know something. About the culprits? Mr. Barnes, do you have any idea who the thief might be? Not a clue, I'm afraid. But I do know that Mr. Denise and I are the only ones who can freely use the key to the jewel storage room. Growlithe guards that key with constant vigilance, so I imagine it would be very difficult for anyone else to take it from her. I suppose it's no great wonder that the police suspect me given the circumstances. I think Growlithe would also give it to the wife. But I would never do something so senseless. At least this confirms that only those two have access to the key. About Ducklet.
Yes.
Ducklet is my dear partner Pokemon. Just look at this photo. That's Ducklet with you there? Yes, isn't she adorable? Just look at her feathers. Simply beautiful. But that's not all. She's also incredibly clever and even helps me out with my work. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away when I speak about Ducklet. It's really no problem. You mentioned that she helps you with your work. What exactly does she do? Let's see. She runs errands for me, such as buying coffee beans from a local cafe. Oh, she buys coffee beans. Nice. There's a place nearby called the Hi-Hat Cafe. Perhaps you've heard of it. She regularly goes shopping there by herself. If that's their go-to cafe, then it's gotta be for the Hi-Hat blend. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that Rhyme City's elites have such refined taste. I asked her to go to the cafe today, in fact, but she hasn't yet returned. Could she have wandered off somewhere? Do you have any idea where Ducklet might be? Unfortunately, no. The feathers found at the scene of the crime are Ducklet's, right? Yes, no question about it. But I haven't the faintest idea why Ducklet's feathers would be there. Just the thought of her getting caught up in the crime somehow. I'm so worried I can hardly think straight. About the drop. Out of all the jewels in Mr. Denise's collection, he considers the Aurora Drop to be his most precious. He works tirelessly to acquire it in the first place. You might even say the Aurora Drop is the physical manifestation, the crystallization of Mr. Denise's career as a jeweler. I wish nothing but swift retribution to the thief who stole it from him. For someone who speaks so formally, Barnes is a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? Please, Tim, find the Aurora Drop. I beg you. Don't worry, sir, won the case.
Well...
Based on Barnes' testimony, I'm really not surprised the police suspect him. Yeah, if only there was another witness at least. About that, aren't you forgetting something, Tim? Huh? Barnes told us that Growlithe and Clefable were in the mansion at the time of the incident, remember? Oh right, maybe the Pokemon... I have tried talking to them. Exactly, you can leave the rest to me. Let's go question them, Tim.
Tim.
Have you finished questioning Barnes? For now anyway, we just have finished gathering our evidence. It doesn't change the fact that Barnes is still a suspect. If you don't mind, could we ask you some questions? If you insist, but I have no intention of sharing confidential information with you. About Barnes, is the storage room key the reason the police suspect Barnes? Oh, so you know that much already. Well, no point in denying it. The only two people who can access... Yeah, we know. I highly doubt staged it. I am sure that he didn't. The Witucket feathers, yes, we know. Yes. Duly noted. We don't have any decisive evidence yet. But we're going to find this ducklet that flew the coop, and that will get definite proof. You'll see. Well, I'll be continuing my own investigation. Suit yourself. Are you following any leads other than Barnes? Of course we are. We've already collected statements from every last person in this house. Do you mind if I ask what your impression of each of them was? Well, I suppose I could tell you that much. Mr. Denise seems rather shaken by Barnes falling under suspicion, and his wife Claudia is reacting quite impetuously. She's been approaching us repeatedly to demand that we hurry and wrap up our investigation. Oof, that's gotta be tough. I almost feel bad for Brad. One of their staff members, Turner, has been very cooperative with our investigations. He's told us a lot about everything that happened up until he lost consciousness. I suppose that's all I can say for now. Thank you, we'll keep all that in mind. Yeah, we are going to do that. You want to talk.
Yo, main ectric! Working hard?
Stay out of my way.
Hey, what did I ever do to you?
I don't know what you did to him. Okay, Clefable. She still looks awfully suspicious of us. Let's try again later. Hey Growlithe. Sorry to bug you when you're already feeling down, but would it be alright if we ask you some questions? We're here to catch the thief, and we need your help to do that. You're willing to talk to us if it will help Senji? Thanks. Senji? Growlithe's nickname for Denise, near as I can tell. Oh right, his full name's Senji Denise, so I guess Senji makes sense. Anyway, Growlithe, can we start with the questions? About you. Gotcha. As Denise's partner, it's your job to guard the mansion. And we already know the key to the jewel storage room was around your neck. It's important to Denise, so guarding it is important to you. Makes sense. She says he'd never let anyone other than Denise or Barnes even touch the key. So that's why you feel extra responsible for what happened, huh? She's really got a strong sense of responsibility. Don't worry, the two of us are gonna crack this case. At the time of the incident. Do you remember anything about the time of the incident? You don't know because you were napping. What? Your breakfast was so tasty that you ate too much and it made you sleepy? Ha, been there, believe me. What are you even talking about? You woke up when Barnes got home. That would have been right before the commotion happened. And when you woke up, your precious key was gone? Yeah, I can tell you're upset. You'll do whatever it takes to help us catch the thief? Thanks. We'll come ask for an assist if anything comes up. She says Barnes is a kind of well-mannered person. He and Denise are close, and she's never seen them fighting or arguing. Mr. Denise really does seem to trust Barnes after all. Go. And Growlithe likes Barnes too. Judging from what Growlithe says, it's hard to think of Barnes as a likely culprit. There wasn't anything in Growlithe's testimony that could help us prove Barnes' innocence. Only one left to ask is Clefable. I'll do what I can to get Clefable talking to us. Thanks, Pikachu. What? You think the thieves were returning to the scene of the crime? You got it all wrong. We're not here to steal anything. We're actually great detectives looking to catch the thief. Please, can you answer some questions? Yes, really. Come on, you can trust us. Yeah, help us out and I'm sure Claudia's bad mood will clear up too. So are you willing to talk to us? Thanks. Guess Clefable was worried we'd do something bad to Mrs. Denise. About you.
Hey.
Do you have a job here at the mansion? No job per se, unless you count spending time with Claudia. Isn't it tough hanging out with someone so prickly? Claudia's not a bad person, you say? Sorry, didn't mean to be insulting. So Claudia's always arguing with someone or other. But when it's just you and her together, she starts to regret the whole thing? Oh, I get it now. Your job is to cheer her up when she gets into arguments. Well, you're actually pretty nice. I bet Clefable's really important to Mrs. Denise. At the time of the incident, did anything strange happen today? Clefable saying she got real sleepy while playing in the mansion this morning. Oh, second Pokemon that got really sleepy. Then she dozed off and doesn't know what happened after that. That's too bad. About Barnes, what do you think of Barnes? Do you get along with him alright? Claudia doesn't like Barnes, so Clefable tries to not to have much to do with him. But she doesn't think Barnes is a bad person. After all, she says Barnes ran to help Turner when he got hurt. Wait, does that mean Clefable saw Barnes going upstairs to help Turner? Yes, it's gotta. Clefable, what else can you tell us? Clefable was dozing near the front door this morning. When Barnes got home from doing stuff outside, she woke up and greeted him at the door. Then Clefable and Barnes heard Turner cry out on the second floor, so they both went running upstairs. Barnes didn't say that. And that's when, to their surprise, they found Turner on the floor. That means when Turner was attacked, Barnes was still on the first floor. Begin deducing.
Okay.
Alright, we've got some useful information. Let's stop for a moment and gather our thoughts together. Based on everything we heard, is there anything that suggests Barnes is innocent? Let's review the information we gathered and see what we come up with. Barnes may not be the culprit. He returned to the mansion after the crime had occurred. I think so. He had access. He did have access, but...
Okay.
We learned that Clefable greeted Barnes when he returned to the mansion. And Growlithe said she woke up at exactly the same time. Barnes and the others only became aware of the crimes after that. Doesn't that mean Barnes couldn't be the culprit? Barnes was on the first floor when Turner was attacked. That would have made it very difficult for Barnes to steal the jewel. I'm not sure we can prove Barnes' innocence with that alone. Yeah, we can't exactly disclose that testimony came from Pokemon. No one would believe us. It looks like we're going to need other evidence to prove his innocence. But it's something. Barnes has an alibi. We can't lift the suspicion about Barnes with Clefable's testimony alone. I think we're going to need some other kind of evidence to prove his innocence. But where should we look for it? Nothing immediately comes to mind. At times like this, it's best to try investigating other leads. We might find a thread somewhere unexpected that leads us back to this. To get close to the truth of this case, we've got no choice but to find a Pokemon that witnesses saw. Witnesses reported seeing a red Pokemon in Ducklet. I wonder if the Pokemon that cut open the jewel case is the culprit's partner. It makes sense to think that, but no such human was seen by witnesses. Having said that though, we might learn something if we can find a red Pokemon. Let's head into the city and get some leads on that red Pokemon. I'm sure we'll be able to figure out what Pokemon it actually is. And at this point it seems pretty unlikely that Barnes is the culprit. But then why did Ducklet leave from the second floor window? Seems unlikely that it's got nothing to do with the jewel theft. Finding Ducklet would be the quickest way to confirm that. Good call, let's head into the city and look for her.
Okay.
Looks like the only way to continue our investigation is to gather info in the city. But where should we go? Should we go after Ducklet or search for the red Pokemon? If you're unsure, why don't we try following Ducklet? I think we have a better lead to go on for that than for the red Pokemon. Oh right, we did hear that Ducklet was supposed to go buy coffee beans today. I'll bet you she went to the High Hat Cafe. You're right, we should probably go search the cafe. Let's not waste any time, Tim. We can do that right now. It's going to be a long episode today, but I think we can still make some great waves in what we're doing. That we're getting close at least. Huh? You mean you won't help me? I understand how you feel, ma'am, but we're in the middle of an investigation right now. Yes, but what should I do? It looks like that woman has a problem. Sure does. I doubt it has anything to do with our case, but it's hard not to want to help someone who's in trouble. That's the spirit, Tim. If we see a person or a Pokemon with a problem, let's do what we can to help them. That's what makes us the city's great detectives. But we do need to prioritize our current case. This is something we can help with when we have time. Right, first let's hear what she has to say. Good idea. During your investigation, people and Pokemon may request your help solving their problems. These people and Pokemon have a blue speech bubble. If you see them, try talking to them. Local concerns that you've agreed to help with are added to a list. Okay, keep in mind some of these requests aren't necessarily problems in the strictest sense. Excuse me, may I ask what's wrong? My Lillipup's gone missing. Oh no, what happened? We were taking a walk together in Serenity Park. I guess Lillipup must have been having too much fun. He got so worked up, he took off like a rocket. I've been searching all over for him and now I'm exhausted. The police officer won't look into it for me either. I don't know what to do. We can't just ignore this. That's right, helping people is a detective's job, and finding lost Pokemon even more so. We'd like to help you, ma'am. We're detectives, so we're pretty good at looking for lost people and Pokemon. Really? That would be a huge help. Can you think of anywhere your Lillipup might have gone? Well, I've already searched the park pretty thoroughly, but I haven't looked for him in the city yet. Oh, also my Lillipup likes quiet places, but I'm not sure there are any places like that around here. I think that's enough information for us to go on. Please wait here while we search for him. I'm so sorry to add to your workload when you already look so busy, but thank you. I hope you find my sweet Lillipup. If we see a Lillipup during our investigation, we should talk to it. Okay. The High Hat Cafe. I think that's going to be the last thing that we're going to do, unless we walk into the Lillipup by accident. You are a red Pokemon. Self-appointed city patrol. What are you up to? Watchdog's hobby is observing things around the city. In that case, maybe it's seen something useful. Can't hurt to ask. About you, Watchdog? Oh, you never get bored in this city because there are so many different people and Pokemon to watch. Must be fun having eyes like yours, especially since they let you see in the dark. Watchdog? What, really? Jock, what's it saying? You've got to tell me too. Right, sorry, it says it saw Ducklet pass by here. If she passed by here, she was probably on her way to the cafe after all. About the red Pokemon. There are so many red Pokemon, you don't know which one we mean? Good point. Do we know anything else about it? Let's see. We know it's a Pokemon that can use a move to slice clean through hard objects, and that can easily knock down a human with a punch. You haven't seen any Pokemon like that around here? Alright then. Thank you. Whimsical. The High Hat Cafe. Oh, the mayor's daughter. Milk Creamy.
Oh, Tim!
Hi. Rachel Myers.
Hello there.
Hi. Oh, you're Jessica, Rachel's friend. Wow, what a coincidence running into you here. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. I think I've seen this girl somewhere before. Oh, I remember. Howard's notebook. She's the girl from the photo. Yes, Pikachu, this is Rachel. We go to college together. She's the mayor's daughter? Right. And you said she knows a lot about Pokemon too, didn't you? And she's just a classmate, or... This is why I don't like telling you about my personal life. I'm just looking out for you. I never hear you talk about actually having fun with people. Oh well, anyway, who's the woman next to her? I know about as much as you do. I don't think we've met before. Hey Jessica, have you heard of these? Of course, it's an honor to meet the great detectives. By the way, Tim, were you talking to Pikachu just now? What? No way. No need to be embarrassed. I totally understand the urge to talk with your partner. But now that you're here, why don't you chat with us for a bit? Yeah, sure. It's not like I'm on a case or anything.
You and Pikachu must be working hard, huh?
Yeah, he's actually more helpful than he looks.
Hey.
That's pretty impressive, Pikachu.
Come on, Tim, you can give me a better compliment than that. You seem different from usual somehow. Don't tell me that award my dad gave you is already starting to change you. No, of course not. I'm the same as I've always been. Are you sure? I mean, we don't really know each other all that well. Maybe you have the wrong impression of me? No way. I've had my eye on you for a while now, Tim. Excuse me? Oh, does she mean what I think she means? It's like I have a front row seat to the great detective in action. It feels like an exciting new adventure could break out at any moment. Ah, right. Did you get your hopes up for a moment there, Tim? Quiet, you.
It is such an honor to meet you, Tim.
Is it?
Thank you for solving the R case. You have no idea what that meant to me.
Oh, there's the poltergeist.
Yeah.
I see news about your accomplishments on TV all the time. You're quite a celebrity. Celebrity? I wouldn't go quite that far. No need to be modest. You're a great detective after all. Jessica used to work with my mother years ago. That's how we met, and we've been friends ever since. Oh, I see. But it's been a while since we've met up like this. About 2 years, I think? We've both been so busy lately, there just hasn't been time to get together. I had no idea you'd become friends with the famous great detective. Were you surprised? Yes, of course. Hey, I'm the great detective. By the way, Tim, I work at a pizzeria in Bamboo Burrow. If you're ever in the area, stop by. I'll treat you to one of our awesome pizzas. Alright, did you hear that, Tim? Let's go sometime. The pizza place where Jessica works is actually pretty famous. Sounds great, I'd love to go. I'll take you up on that offer. I'll be waiting. Tim, there's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. What's up? Well, it's about something going on at home. Sounds serious? I'm not sure how much help I'll be, but you can always talk to me. I don't want to waste your time though. Don't worry about it. I'm working right now, but we could meet up tonight if you're free. Sure, that works. Thank you, Tim. Okay, then how about you stop by my apartment later this evening? Hey, not bad, Tim. But aren't we supposed to have dinner with your family tonight? Yeah, but this sounds serious. I can't just brush her off. The least I can do is hear her out for a little bit. Fair enough. I'm sure your family will understand. She can just join us, right?
Tim.
What?
Hey, Tim. Jessica seems really grateful to us for solving the R case 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Nice to know our hard work wasn't for nothing.
true. That was it.
Well, look who it is.
Owner of the Hyatt Cafe, Pablo Milan. Why is your voice so high? Hi Tim, did something happen today? I noticed you weren't here this morning. Yeah, I got caught up in a news case. Oh, sounds rough. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Me? Sure, go right ahead. About the Hyatt Cafe.
Excuse me.
You must have been really busy moving your cafe to this new location. Do you feel all settled in now? Yeah, it feels like things are finally back to normal. I know Pikachu's been coming here on his own to drink your coffee. I hope he hasn't been causing you any trouble. Trouble? Me? I'm a paying customer. Won't you pick up my tab? Not at all. The cafe is way closer to your place now, and it seems like Pikachu feels comfortable here. And the Hyatt Cafe always welcomes Pokemon customers. About Barnes. The butler from the Denise mansion. Yeah, he swings by the cafe pretty often after he's done with work. Barnes is a regular customer? Yeah, he loves coffee and jazz, so we've got plenty to talk about. But apparently he's been really stressed lately, so he hasn't been stopping by as much. He's been really stressed, huh? You should probably ask for more details about that. Stressed? Do you know why Barnes was stressed? Was he worried about something? Oh, well, I'm not sure it's my place to tell you about a customer's personal matters. Please, we're just trying to help. It's for Barnes' sake. Oh, so this is for a case, huh? Then I guess I'd better tell you. He was worried about the jewel that Mr. Denise was planning to donate to Rhyme City. Apparently the Denises had a difference of opinion about that. Barnes was trying to come up with a compromise that would satisfy both of them. But he said he just wound up getting stuck in the middle of the argument. That does sound stressful. I remember him saying he wished there was no jewel in the first place. He wished there was no jewel, huh? Anyway, that's all I know. I hope it helps. Yes, thank you. About Ducklet. Do you know the Ducklet that lives at the Denise residence? Yeah, I know her. You're talking about Barnes' partner, right? She often comes here all on her own to buy coffee beans. She really is a clever little Pokemon. Just like Barnes said, she always comes with this cute little bag that I fill with beans for her. As far as I know, she takes them straight back to the mansion. In fact, she left with her usual order a couple minutes ago. Good. Really?
Okay, let's start deducing.
I want to talk still. Milkery, rich with flavor and fortune. Oh, it's a milkery. Hey Pablo, got a new customer? Oh, you mean this milkery? It's new. Just started living here, in fact. Wonder what sort of place it's from. Whoa, hey, hold on, milkery. Both Tim and Pikachu have particular blends they prefer. You can't just add cream without asking. I'd prefer to keep my coffee black, but why don't you try some cream, Tim? Sure, and it smells great. I'll give it a try next time. Looks like she's in a good mood as always. Do you think she might know something? She might. We can ask. About you, Ludicolo. You say you've got an ear for rock now, not just jazz? Apparently, a Politoad and its friends put on concerts here at night. And you really love that music, so that's how you went from jazzist to rocker. I'd love to hear Politoad's concert sometime. About Ducklet. Have you seen Ducklet recently? She says Ducklet comes to the cafe pretty often. Pablo knows more about that apparently. Oh, and you sometimes see Ducklet at Serenity Park? I see, so the pond water there is good for your fur. And you meet Ducklet there sometimes when you go to bathe. How nice that you tell each other about good swimming spots. I guess waterside Pokemon get along swimmingly with each other.
Okay, let's start. Whoa!
Okay, sorry. I will do that first. How dare I?
Okay.
Did she figure out where Ducklet went after she left the mansion? Let's piece together the information we've gathered. She did go there.
Okay.
Didn't Ducklet go to the Hyatt Cafe to buy coffee beans? Yeah, apparently she goes there on a regular basis to buy them. Today was one of those days. And Pablo said that he handed Ducklet her usual order of coffee beans. So I guess Ducklet headed back to the mansion then. She might be back there already. Yes. Yeah, we're not there yet, I think.
Okay.
Let's head back to the mansion to search for Ducklet. Good idea. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to do that in the next episode. I hope you had a good time. Goodbye.